And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this very special edition of New Distributor Training. My name is Fred Holmes. I'm going to be joined by my business partner, David Moses, in just a moment. And we're excited to have all of you here this morning. We're going to be doing a lot of information for you. A special welcome to all of our brand new distributors. I'm going to put into the chat box a link that I'm going to want each one of you to dial into or to check out a broadcast there. It's a 30-minute training on the fundamentals of getting started in your own home-based business. It's called New Distributor Training. I'll put that in the chat box for you, and you can access that. But I'm going to bring David Moses over. Really doesn't need any introduction, but for those of you that are relatively new to the team, David Moses has, approaching 30 years of experience in the network marketing profession, multi-million-dollar earner, and proud to say he's my personal sponsor, and we've been working together now for about a dozen years, 12, maybe 13 years. Dave, you're going to want to start your camera and unmute yourself.
Just like that?
Just like that. Good morning, Dave. How are you?
I'm doing good, Fred.
Very good. Well, we've got quite a group of people joining us with us, and some people that are, haven't been around for a while, but they're just excited about what's happening right now with this transition to, an industry giant, Isagenix. We're kind of in about a 90-day pre-launch for completion of our merger, and what we want to do today, Dave, is kind of give everybody an idea of, best practices. What should we all be doing right now to prepare for this incredible, transition, to be able to be part of this legacy company? And I can't think of anybody, better, positioned and prepared to talk about this, because you've actually had so many years of experience in the industry. You've undergone a number of transitions in your time. Maybe we can talk a little bit about, what the mindset needs to be right now for all of our team members.
All right. Well, I'm going to ask everybody's permission to I guess, call it as I see it. No sugarcoating. And the first thing is this. I'd like everybody, including you, Fred, to avoid talking about a transition.
Okay.
All right? Because as far as I'm concerned...
I'm taking notes, Dave.
Yeah?
I'm taking notes.
All right. I'm not going to, the past is history. And if we're going to make it in Isagenix, the only thing relevant is Isagenix. Okay, I know that we have a customer base and some people are very loyal to our product after 13 years of the past. Those products will still be available, and they'll be rebranded, and they'll be available through the new brand. But this is about new people. It's about building new people. It is about creating duplication. It's about getting people plugged into a new culture. And he or she who is able to switch their mindset to the new culture will be the new leadership of Isagenix. I mean, that's how it works. And I'm telling you that from experience. As you all know, or the ones at least I've worked with, I've been doing this for 30 years, and this is not my first transition. It's actually number 5 out of the 8 times that I've built organizations on the field in network marketing. 5 of those times there was a merger, a buyout that required a complete change of mindset. And I'm telling you that my experience was and is that it's all about getting plugged in and resonating with the culture of the company that we're building. And why is that important? Well, because when we talk to a brand new person, right, our business is about introducing new customers, gathering new customers, and gathering new business builders who gather new customers, right? the only thing relevant to a brand new person is what you're showing them at that moment. And if we start talking about things that they have no context for, because they weren't involved, they don't really know, they don't know what we're talking about. It's meaningless. It is utterly and absolutely meaningless to a new candidate, to a new customer. And all it serves to do is to confuse that person. On the flip side, so long for those of us who are existing team members, you know, we've been together a couple of years, as we continue to talk about it to each other, we continue to anchor something that which does not exist. Let me repeat that. We're talking about something, I'm going to repeat it again. We need to get this. We're talking about something that doesn't exist anymore, right? And I've got as much at stake as anybody else. I had plenty of investment. I circled the globe 15 times. So, but I can let go. I just like flip a switch. I don't even remember the name. Why? Because it's all about the new. It's about the new person. And it's about giving the new person a clear vision. A vision that they can see, that they can understand, that they can believe in order to move forward. So I want you to do your best. Make a note, stick it on your computer, put it where you need to put it so that you're all set. That was Kathy Coover, by the way. You see, you can multitask too, just a little bit. So that you've got it in front of you, reminding you to stay focused on the main thing, which is communicating the vision of Isagenix to a brand new person. I'm in full-blown mode of introducing new people to Isagenix. And there may be a couple of my friends on this broadcast also that I invited last minute. They will be on the broadcast coming up at 4 p.m. Eastern time. By getting ourselves into that mindset, immersing ourselves, flipping the switch, creating new anchors, we will start to be able to cast the vision in a way that enrolls and inspires and moves others. And that's the goal. Everybody's on this training, I imagine, because you want to build a successful business, you want to create a royalty income, you want this thing to work, and I'm telling you how to do it, right? So let's get focused on the new. And Fred, listen, you know, you've been around this business for what, a good 30 years?
Yeah, 35.
Or longer.
Yeah, probably longer. I was 31 and I'm 60, will be 66.
All right, so you've been around longer than I have in the industry. That's why you got more gray hair.
And documenting or demonstrating keys to success. Success leaves clues. I'm taking notes on what you're saying right now, David.
All right. Okay, can I, okay, so I'm going to give you another little anchor.
Okay.
That T-shirt. I don't know what that is. What is that T-shirt? Okay, you got the idea?
I got the idea, David.
Right? Right? You're wearing a T-shirt. It's putting an anchor right out there, right?
Yep.
And so, again, I'm talking to everybody. You know what? That, too, that's an anchor. It's a great product, and it's going to be rebranded. And I understand that we have a customer base that only understands that product and that only understands that T-shirt. I get it, right? However, for those of you who are looking to build a team, build an organization, you want to become a crystal executive, you want to start working towards the Isagenix compensation plan and all the benefits that it has, we need to be focused on the new person. The new person. I think Fred went to go change his T-shirt. I don't know. And that'd be a good anchor, Fred, by the way. And when we talk to the new person, when they have a clear picture, a clear understanding, they're going to focus on what you show them. That's the only thing they're going to talk about to one of their candidates, one of their friends, one of their associates. So we only want to give them the information that we want them to share with the next person. You share, they share. Let's make sure that we're sharing what we want them to share with people that they know. And that is about how to get on the 30-day system, get on 100 BV automatic reorder or reoccurring customer, and then become a consultant. How do you become a consultant? Get your two people, right? There's you and then your two. If you've got your two people, you've got them on the product, the person that you sponsored has become a consultant. We want to build 5 of those consultants on each side of our business, on the left and on the right. If you're a new person, you're going to be asking what's a left and what's a right. Well, in our compensation plan, in our business plan, our whole structure, everything that we do is based on building 2 teams, right? 2 branches, right? There's you, and then there's 2 teams of people, right? And we want to make sure on each of those 2 teams, we have sponsored or introduced 5 people each on each side, right? Now, you don't have to do that your first day. You don't have to do that your first week. You don't have to do it your first month. The company actually gives us 6 months, 180 days, to become what's called a crystal executive, meaning you've got 180 days to actually introduce 10 people and help them get there too. I will tell you, I am working with some people who have done that in a matter of 30 days, and I've got some people that have done that in 48 hours. So it really doesn't matter whether you do it in 2 days or 6 months. All that matters is you're moving in that direction. Personally, I'm looking to do it as soon as possible, maybe in my first 30 days. That will not be a record. Oh, look at that. Okay?
David, you're giving me clarity.
Okay? So you see, that's an example of being really coachable. Right? Right? And listen, don't get me wrong, Fred Holmes has made millions of dollars in this business. He was actually a very successful leader in the first company that I joined. And I used to look at him in the magazine on the first page underneath the top distributors of that company when I could barely spell network marketing. Who would have thought that we'd be working together? I mean, like, seriously, Fred.
But David, I just want to say to all the team members here, it really is not an issue of how successful you've been in the past. It's an issue of how successful you intend to be in the future. Because, you know, while I did very well before, I have learned more about, you know, high-level leadership from David Moses in the last dozen years that we've been working together. And that's because I try to do what I teach. Be coachable. And how many times have you picked up the phone, David, and said, Fred, are you coachable?
Well, you know, I don't know everything. I know a little bit. And one of the reasons that I've learned a few things is I've made a lot of mistakes. I went out when I got started in this industry, and I went out to all my friends and all my family, and I got rejected by 100% of them. Not 99%, 100%. Because I wasn't teachable, I didn't follow the system. I tried to sell, we're not in a selling business, right? We're in a teaching, coaching business. You know, there's a difference between sharing something we believe in and selling to someone. There's a subtle difference, and it makes all the difference in the world. Okay. Another note here. Again, this whole business is about inviting new people, getting new people to take a look, right? STP, show the plan, as we say. So today at 4 o'clock, have you got that image, Fred? Can we put that image up?
Stand by.
All right. Take note, everybody. You're all invited. I'm going to be doing my first business presentation, my first broadcast with Kathy Coover. Now, I want to put some meat on the bones on this broadcast. Kathy is one of the co-founders of Isagenix. Okay. As I said, in my 30 years of doing this industry, Kathy is the first owner, there it is. So make sure, oh, I like this. This is a great platform, Fred. You're gonna have to teach me all these things, right? So there it is. You've got the time, 4 p.m. Eastern time today, which means we've got approximately 2.5 hours, 3 hours from now to invite guests. I can tell you this, if you do nothing today, except for the next 3 hours, just invite guests to this broadcast, right? And just ask them to explore the possibilities. Something you want them to take a look at. Something that approach them from a help standpoint, right? So, Fred, listen, I'd love you to come take a look at this broadcast. It's going to be about 20 minutes, real short, but it's about a business that I'm working from home, and I need to do it right now. You might be able to direct me to a few people who would like to do something like this from home. And if you know anybody who'd like to lose a little bit of weight, especially direct me to a few of those people. So, that's just an invitation. The idea is this. You've got 3 hours to invite guests. Don't invite one, don't invite two, invite a whole bunch of guests. Let me show you something here. That's what I did yesterday, and I'm going to do it more right after this broadcast. Now make sure, listen, this is like having a piece of paper and doing it on an old style, as we used to call it, memory jogger. This is how I do it. You see all those names right there? All those names, right? And you can scroll up, there's more of them. Every single one of those people right there are the ones that I've invited to the 4 o'clock presentation with Kathy Coover. I spent about 4 or 5 hours yesterday inviting each one of these people individually. I called every one of them. Every one of them I spoke with, either on Messenger or directly on the phone. I didn't just send them an email. I spoke to them. I invited them. And every single person on this list, every single one of them said they're going to show up today. And I would estimate that 90% of them are going to show up, right? Some of them have a little bit of experience. They've tried network distribution before. There's 1 or 2 of them that have had success. And I would say about 75 to 80% of them are brand new grassroots people, including a couple of family members, right? Some people that have watched me over the years, have never joined, but are now open-minded to taking a look. So I spent the whole day yesterday doing that. You know what I'm going to do right after this training, Fred?
Same thing.
I'm going to do the same thing, right? It's no different for me than it is for you. I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Now, the other thing that I did is the existing team members, that's everybody on this broadcast, and you, Fred, and Pat Anderson, and Reed Nelson, and Phil Jacobson, right? And Dee Dee Shaw, and some of our team members, and Dave Kirtley, I know you're there, because I saw Fred mention your name, right? I made sure to go down a second level, not just to the people I'm inviting, but to make sure that our team is informed and that our team is inviting people. And you know what? If we do that every single day, every day, even for an hour, but we're home now, we're all locked up, so we do it for 2 or 3 hours, and for those that are like really tough, you do it for 4 or 5 hours, you're going to explode your business. You're going to put it through the roof because the law of averages will start to work for you. And the beautiful thing about the law of averages, what is it, Fred? It's a law.
Sinaloa, safety in numbers, law of averages.
Right? It's a law. And what I mean by it's a law just like the tide goes in, it comes in, and the tide goes out. The sun rises and the sun sets. All right? Just like clockwork. The law of averages works just like clockwork. The more that you invite, sooner or later, your invitation's going to land on the right person. And you can't say the wrong thing to the right person, right? And that person's going to join, and they're going to get excited, and they're going to start inviting a lot of people, and someone from who they invite is going to end up running with this, and you're going to find that you've got an organization exploding underneath you, and you're not even exactly sure how it happened, other than somebody showed up below you that blew your business up. My business and every dollar I've made in this industry has happened exactly the same way. Let me show you something. This is from my last company, and Paul and Carol Beck had this made up for me. Carol has, passed away several years ago, but it's David. Thank you so much, David Moses, for your 45-second presentation. Your 45-second presentation, which was basically telling my story to a guy named Shane, who came in and became the #1 person in my business in my previous company, right? And that one contact who was not a personal friend of mine, I met him because I knew, you know what, I'm going to tell you this story, all right? Follow me on this story. The second company that I was involved in network marketing actually happened as a result of the first. And I became a distributor in a diet company called Univite, the micro diet. You remember that? I was frontline. That was they started in 88. I joined them in 1991 when they came to Canada. Right. They were in Carlsbad, California. And they used to market shakes and bars. Shakes and bars. Strawberry, banana, vanilla, and chocolate. And then they had the nutrition bars. That's back in 1991. So I was 2 years into the industry, and I was frontline in Canada, and we started building the business, and I didn't know anything, and I befriended all of the top leaders that I met at their convention in the US. One of the people that I became good friends with was Mita Del Fiero. And Mita used to live in Seattle, Washington, And we became friends and communicated. She was in the US team and I was in the Canadian team. We were not in the same organization. We were separate. And what ended up happening was one thing led to another, and Microdiet was the first company where I did a transition. They got in trouble. They went out of business. And so the organization moved over to a company called Bodywise International. Bodywise International. And I had that relationship with Mita Del Fiero. And I called Mita and, you know, and she was kind of like, you know, she stayed a little bit too long with the other company. You know, she was making $40,000 a month. And sometimes you get, you know, you get caught with that and you don't know when it's time to go. She stayed and, you know, sunk with the ship. Anyway, she joined me in Bodywise, and a top earner now became my personally sponsored person in Bodywise. Well, she ended up bringing on board many top leaders from that other company, and she kind of launched me into the industry just because I befriended someone that was not really my personal friend. Well, that was 1993 with Bodywise. And time went on, and I went on to other things, and she went on to other things, and the years went by. We caught up again in 2002. We caught up again in 2002 with another company that was some kind of online company, you know, like it was the time of the internet. And so Mita joined me in that company, and she started sponsoring some people. She introduced me to an older couple who were in a company called Ameriplan down in Florida. And, you know, I never even met the couple. We spoke on the phone, never even met them. And that couple made a list of people and introduced me to this guy named Shane, who lived just outside of Toronto in a city called Oakville. And I gave Shane a call on their behalf, which came from Mita, who I met 20 years before. And he came to my house, and he joined that company, which went out of business about 6 months later. And then he went on to other things, and I went on to other things. And then I became, in 2004, the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Gano XL. You can Google that. David Moses, Gano XL Coffee. You'll find it there. And I gave this guy Shane a call. That contact that I met from the older couple in Florida who was introduced to me by Mita, who I met in 1991. Everybody following me on that?
Yep.
As a result of that contact, I earned $7 million in that company. Right? As a result of someone I didn't even know. Someone that wasn't on my list. Someone that wasn't my personal friend. Someone that I couldn't have imagined, right? I couldn't have envisioned of that's how it would have gone. What I'm trying to tell you is this. That's how this business works. So I don't want you to get all caught up in who you're inviting and who rejected and who said yes and who said no, because it totally doesn't matter. It's totally irrelevant. That's not how your success will show up when it does. Your success will show up as a result of an introduction through one other person and another person. You know what, Fred? You're exactly the same. I knew of you from a magazine, but I had never met you. I never spoke to you. I was introduced to you by somebody else.
Yep, that's exactly right.
That's another, Fred's another example. Fred's another example of that concept. So I think the point of what I want to make to all of you who are on this broadcast this morning, on this training this morning, and we'll kind of wrap this up, we'll just keep it to this one concept, is that all that matters is that you are exposing new people, you are inviting new people, you're getting new people on the Isagenix product, right? So whether you're inviting someone to come take a look at the business or you're inviting someone to get on the product, right? Both of those work, right? There's some people with great testimonials, and I tell you what, I'm going to have a great testimonial within 90 days in terms of a product transformation. Sooner or later, one of the invitations that you make to either a customer and or someone who chooses to build is going to land on a referral that'll lead you to a Fred Holmes, that'll lead you to a Pat Anderson, that'll lead you to Chris Estes, that'll lead you to a Phil Jacobson, that'll lead you to a Dave Kirtley, right, Dave? Dave Kirtley is on this broadcast, and Dave Kirtley is someone, he's a great recruiter, a great business builder. Let me put my other glasses on because I can see better when I'm trying to read chat with these. Dave Kirtley, there's Judy Glass, Mike Crane. Mike Crane, I see you there, Mike. Here's a guy, I didn't know Mike. I met Mike through Phil. And I didn't really know Phil. I met Phil many years ago. He wasn't my personal, he's someone that I met. But through Phil, I met, Mike Crane. So we meet people through other people, and the professional networker, the successful networker, is working down in depth. Remember, I did that training the other day. You work down in depth, right? I sponsor you, Fred. I teach you, I show you, I support you to sponsor Pat, right? You work with Pat, you teach her how to teach so that she sponsors Ann Dom, yep. Right? And that's 3 levels deep for me. That's you, that's Pat, that's Ann. Well, Ann Dom has brought thousands of people into our business, right? I didn't know Ann Dom. And oh, by the way, neither did Pat. She met Ann Dom from someone that never got started.
Through Noreen Ziegler.
Through Noreen? Is that where Ann came from?
Yep.
Okay. And how did she get to Noreen?
Noreen is a personal friend of hers that she'd been working with from a health perspective.
All right. So Pat brought Noreen Ziegler, a personal friend, and Noreen Ziegler brought Ann Dom.
Yep.
Right? So understand this. Load the funnel, bring as many people as you can, work with them, work with the people that they know in order for you to find the core leadership, the ones that are ultimately going to be the next generation leader in this business. So we have, Fred, any questions or anything that you want to sort of interject
I think in that last example, and this is so relevant to so many of our team members that came to Zija because of the product, only because of the product, and it was because of their motivation and their great results, they started sharing the product. That is exactly the story you just told. Pat Anderson didn't want to do the business, you know that. But she was really interested in the product and made a major difference in her. She went to her friend Noreen, certified nutritionist, not interested in the business, but loved the product and took it to Ann Dom. And within a relatively short period of time, Ann Dom's health changed incredibly. And Ann.
Right. That's an example of the product approach and how successful that can be.
Absolutely.
Right? And then there's the business approach. And I'm doing both. The people on that list that I showed you are both. I've got product-centered people and I've got business people. And I've got a personal friend who may be on this broadcast. He'll definitely be on the one later. Do you see a Howard Brody there? Is he there? Is my friend Howie there?
I don't see Howard right now.
Okay, all right. So he didn't get on yet. Howard, are you sure he's not
on? Unless he's got a pseudonym, no.
All right. See, he's got to become a little more coachable, right? So, right. So, Howard's a friend of mine I grew up with from way back in the early 80s, and he lives in Ottawa. And he's now 57, and he's got 3 young kids that he had in the last 7 years. So he started at age 50 having kids. And now he's complaining to me that I'm trapped. I'm trapped at a job, making enough of a living to support my family, and I can't make any real money.
Yep.
I need to do something. And I said to him, Howard, this is tailor-made for you. You're athletic. You know, you were almost a pro hockey player, right? You're into sports. This will work for you. You're going to do it part-time from home, and I just got to get him plugged in. So he's one of the people that I invited. He'll be on the broadcast today at 4 p.m. Eastern. So any other?
Yeah, David, I just put in for all the people that in the chat box. I put in the link to the webinar with David and Kathy Coover, owner of Isagenix, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. The link is there, or if you want to just put in the Zoom ID number, you can do that as well. Just launch your Zoom app and put in the 293-407-794, but it's in your chat window right now.
Okay, so what you want to do between now and 4 o'clock is get this out to not only your team, but make sure that your team is getting out to a half a dozen to a dozen candidates who would be both candidates for weight loss, nutrition, boosting their immune system, or they want to start something from home, given that they're going to be at home for the next several weeks, right? And they want to start building something from home. This is your opportunity to launch. And by the way, I'll be making an announcement. Write this down. I'll be making an announcement and sending you out another poster, another link to a broadcast that we're going to be doing with Dr. Joshua Plant on Tuesday, right? So today we introduce a lot of new people. On Tuesday, we give them all the training they require on the product. And then there'll be something coming after that on the compensation plan from another Isagenix executive. So we're going to crank this up, right? Follow my lead. I'm going to do it. Watch what I'm doing and copy me. You don't have to do it perfectly. You just got to do it. And one thing's for sure, if you're doing it every day, you're going to get better at it. All right? Let's get it done. Let's make it happen. We'll see you at 4 o'clock. Be on a little bit early, a couple minutes early, and we will load that broadcast up with Kathy. I'll be doing the broadcast with Kathy, and it'll be a business presentation done by the founder of this company. Excellent. So we'll see you there at 4 o'clock. Fred, thank you as always. Any other announcements?
We're good for now, David, and I thank you, my friend.
Thank you, everybody. See you later.